This cardigan on, I'm about to get serious. Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, I'm Lola. I post lifestyle videos with a smidge of fashion and beauty every week. If you haven't already, go ahead and hit that subscribe button, like, comment, share, all that good stuff. And let's get into it. As you can tell from the title, I've been in Charlotte for a year. We're gonna talk about my first year out here, my experience, the goods, the bads, pros and cons, all that good stuff. I do have a couple questions on my phone and we'll just kind of talk through those. And if there are some questions that I don't address, feel free to leave them in the comment section down below and I'll try to answer those. And if you can hear the construction, this construction has been like a reoccurring theme since I moved here. If you can hear the construction, no, you can't. Oh, and like the elephant in the room, sorry, I did cut my hair off, but I just slicked it down. Didn't really want to put like any heat on it or anything. But if you want to see a video on how I normally style my pixie cut, let me know in the comment section down below. Hopping right into the questions. First one is, do I still like it here? Honestly, if you follow me on Instagram, I say I love it here like 3 times a week. I really do like it here. If you don't know already, I'm originally from Georgia, like Metro Atlanta. So it's just been not the biggest of changes, but definitely a good change in pace, environment, just like really what I needed. I lived in Georgia, with the exception of college, I lived out in Georgia since I was like 4. So it definitely was a good change in pace, environment, just really what I needed to grow. So I really do love it out here. Like the environment is cool, the people are really nice. Yeah, I think it's dope. Just kind of going along with that, was would you live here long term? I feel like a year is still pretty short to say if you would like permanently move somewhere, but I like it enough to say that I could see myself living out here, if that makes sense. Maybe not right now, but I definitely have talked about wanting property, like a townhouse, a house, a condo, just something out here that's permanent, just because I know like real estate here is really good. There's tons of like great school options out here. Lots of families have been moving over the past couple of months, years and stuff. So Charlotte is definitely a growing city. So I think it would be beneficial and just kind of smart to like think of owning something more permanent out here, even if myself isn't staying out here permanently. So still talking about just like Charlotte as just like a place. So the next question is, what are the best areas to live? So the way Charlotte is like broken down into like neighborhoods. So you have places like South End, South Park, Noda, Plaza Midwood, Uptown, which is basically like downtown, but it gotta be different and call it Uptown. So that's like the city. I'm trying to think what other places. University City. They're just different neighborhoods all around Charlotte, and it honestly just kind of speaks to the type of vibe you're going for. I know a lot of like new grads and college kids live out in South End. It's a lot more active and noisy over there just because of who the demographic is over there. But places like South Park are mostly families or older people that are looked to like retire and things like that. So South Park, especially around places like Myers Park, I know Queen's University is over there, but even though it's a school area, there's tons of established families. So it definitely, it was really all about the type of vibe that you're going for. There's another like neighborhood called Noda, and that area is a lot of young folks, a lot of like hipstery, artistry type of people. I think it is the art district, but again, it's just like all about the type of vibe that you are going for. But yeah, but from my experience and just like driving around, I would say like the place that look good to me would be like South End if you're like new here and want to be like in the mix. South End, Plaza Midwood, Noda if you're like the artisty type. Those places are super cute, so I would recommend like looking around there if you were trying to like move out here. Okay, next question is, how is the traffic? I want to say that's kind of like subjective, because if you're comparing it to like Atlanta, it's a lot better. Like there is no traffic if you're comparing it to places like that. And it also depends on where you live. So like on a bad day where there's hella traffic, it takes me like 25 minutes to get to work. So it really just depends where you are living and like what you consider bad traffic. So it's definitely a lot better than Atlanta. And I've never been out to LA, but from what I've heard, this ain't that. So I know it's a lot better than places like that. So yeah, there's virtually not a lot of traffic, but of course, like rush hour everywhere is pretty hectic. So yeah. But aside from that, I think it's like minimal traffic here. Cost of living and best places to live. I think I already like covered that, but the cost of living, like again, compared to Atlanta, because that's like where I'm most familiar with and where I come from, I think it's a lot better than the cost of living. And this like the security and the safety and all of that. Like people in Atlanta are getting robbed in their own like apartment complex. Like cost of living just for like the area, the security, all of that, I feel like it's worth it. I'd rather not pay nothing, honestly. I'd rather not. I'd rather live out here for free. The cost of living isn't terrible. Obviously, as you get closer to like the city and more like popular places, rent does get higher. But as of right now, like I don't think you're seeing any place with like rent that's less than $1,200 for a 1 bedroom. Unless you got like super lucky and unless you're like living in the sticks somewhere. But rent is definitely hovering around anywhere from like the 1200s to upwards of like 1700-1800 for a 1 bedroom apartment. It just depends on like I guess it really all depends on what your amenities are and what your budget looks like. But cost of living for me and just like the security and the amenities and like how close I am to work, I feel like all of that kind of just like makes it worth it for me personally. Things to do. I felt like when I first got out here, I felt like there was like just so much to do and so much to explore. And I still kind of feel like that. But I've only recently just started to feel like there might not be a ton to do out in Charlotte. So Charlotte is really big on bars and lounges and clubs and things like that. But if you're looking for like new activities to do, you're probably gonna be like mini golf to death. So, and honestly, when I'm saying like it's just been like a recent discovery that there's not a ton to do out here, I'm talking about like last week. So it's not been like something that I've struggled with. I just really like, I'm a foodie. I like to go eat. So there's tons of places to eat. The restaurants out here are really good. But if I'm looking for like an activity to do that's like new and all of that, I might have to go a little bit further outside of Charlotte to find things to do that are like always being refreshed or new things coming out. But I think Charlotte's focus right now is really like vibes. It's like vibes and like food and drinks and stuff. So they do that really well. But I think like the main thing for them to improve on is just like actual activities and like excursions and things like that. But yeah, so things to do, like I said, mini golf. They love a good mini golf. Brunch. There's some parks around. There's like a black running club. There's like little lounges. There's like a candle making spot out in South End. And then along with that candle making spot, there's just like other things to kind of do in that area. There's like a little farmer's market. There's a small business like show every couple weeks. Like I think it might be like the first weekend of every month. Like small businesses come out and they kind of display like what they make, what they create, things like that. There's like the comedy club, the performing arts center. I thought that was like, I'd never been before I came out here, but I saw the Nutcracker, I saw Frozen, I saw Mean Girls. Like I really like the performing arts center, and that's something that I've like grown to really love, just like seeing different shows out there at the theater. So that's been cool. And different coffee shops. So instead of just working from home all the time, sometimes I'll go to one of my favorite coffee shops and get some work done out there. There's a dessert bar, and it's really nice for like studying, getting work done, things like that. So it's just really cute hole in the wall spots, or just like little nooks of Charlotte that just take a little bit of exploring to dig up. But there is stuff to do out here. It's just like, what type of stuff are you into? Yeah. How are the restaurants and nightlife? So I think I kind of touched on this a little bit, but the restaurants are pretty good for what they are. Again, if you're comparing it to like other major cities like Houston, Atlanta, it might not measure up. But for what it is, it's pretty good. But my only like gripe or thing that I'm not too fond of with Charlotte is that they don't have like an identity when it comes to food. Like if you're thinking Texas or Georgia, you know, you have like a food associated with those places. You think of Charlotte, like nothing really comes to mind. So I think what's been good but also like not the best is that there's a variety of food here. Like there's a lot of options and things, but it's just like they're not really amazing at any one thing. So it's just not like, you know, I hope that makes sense. Like y'all trying very hard like they're trying very hard to make sure that there's all of these options, but nobody has like, to me, nobody has like the best cuisine in this one area. So I feel like it's just a huge like melting pot of different foods, but it's not bad at all. It's not bad at all. Charlotte does good brunch. They also do pretty good like Hispanic food, like tacos and stuff out here are very common. I guess like some of my favorite restaurants out here, Let's Meet Korean Barbecue, Barcelona, which is like a place for tapas. The Donovan has really good brunch. Yeah, and if y'all want like any restaurant recommendations for Charlotte specifically, I could do another video about that, so let me know. Oh, and then Nightlife. Honestly, Nightlife out here is kind of whack. Not even gonna hold you. There's nothing that like compels me to go outside. There's nothing that I'm just like, dang, I would miss out if I didn't go to this place. There's nothing that's like, dang, I have to go here. Like, you gotta go there. You ain't gotta do nothing out here. Like, there's a lot of palm-colored establishments for Nightlife, but not a ton of urban establishments available. So you got places that are like, it's cool if you like the music, but it gets really repetitive. It gets extremely repetitive. But yeah, I mean, I do have like some recommendations on places just to go to say you went, but honestly the Nightlife is kind of lacking. I'm really like racking my brain trying to think of like the black spots that are like cool for a Nightlife. Maybe like Cloud or Safari, Stats, but it's really just like the same kind of thing, same kind of group of people that are there all the time, so it gets really old super fast. So Nightlife would be like the top of the list for cons, and then everything else is pretty good. How has it been making friends? Honestly, making friends out here hasn't been as hard as I thought it was gonna be. So I came out here and I didn't like come to Charlotte blind and just like have nobody out here. So I had been an intern out here, let's say like 3 times at this point. So I definitely had like friends from my internship, just like old co-workers, mentors and things like that that I had already created a network out here in Charlotte. So I never felt like I just didn't know anybody, but it was just a matter of strengthening those connections and relationships that I had already just like planted, if that makes sense. So when I first came out here, I got onto Bumble BFF to like make new girlfriends in the community and stuff. So that was cool. I ended up meeting somebody that I had already like met before, and we just kind of grabbed lunch and things like that. You definitely gonna meet some weirdos, but you gonna weed them out and stuff and just like figure out what you and the other person have in common and see if y'all click and all that good stuff. So it's really just, you have to have an open mind to those things. I thought it was super lame and like low-key desperate, but it's just like, it is what it is. Along also with just like making friends, I consider myself an introvert. So I definitely relied on my more extroverted friends to like kind of pull me in and adopt me into their friend group. And that usually works out. Like if I'm cool with you, I'm probably gonna be cool with your friends too. So that has worked out a lot. And just like having girlfriends to like chat to and like have a familiar face in different places. If you consider yourself on the more shy side, definitely lean on those friends for support. So I thought that was good. And I started volunteering at my church out here. So that's a good way to meet friends and just have familiar faces that you see on a constant basis. So that definitely helps a lot too. Just getting involved with things that you like to do. People at the gym, like I said, when I volunteer at church. The running club, I've definitely met some people out there. So it's not as, it hasn't been like as difficult for me as I thought it was going to be. But yeah, you really just got to put yourself out there. And the people in Charlotte are so friendly. I thought it was weird when I first came out here, but everyone is so like talkative and friendly. And a lot of the time people aren't from Charlotte. So just like introducing yourself and like where you're from, that definitely is like one of the easier ways to kind of break the ice and get a conversation going. So I thought that was cool. So I don't know. I don't think you'll have like, unless you just like stay in a house all the time and like never go anywhere, I don't think it's going to be extremely hard for you to make friends out here. But like I said, you just gotta put yourself out there and, you know, be open-minded, and people, like the right people, will gravitate to you. Next question is, how is dating in Charlotte? First of all, the average height out here is like 5'7". Dating out here, it's been weird. I don't even know how to like describe it. I don't know. I've just met a lot more weirdos than the like normal person. But, and that makes me think, like, am I the drama? Am I the weirdo? Not even like a bad weird, but just like figuring out what I like, what I don't like, and things like that. So it's been interesting. Let me not say weird. The correct word is interesting. It's been cool. Like, you go out, you meet different people, see if y'all connect. I don't know. It also depends on what you're looking for. Like, the options are there. Are the options actually available is another story. Because you're going to meet somebody. It's cool. All the boxes are check, 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 check. Boom. He has a family. You meet another person. Cool, 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 cool. He's actually 5'5". Like, it's just things like that. You just have to like figure out what your likes and dislikes are, see what you're willing to compromise on, what is like a non-negotiable for you. So I don't know. It's not terrible. I'm not like I just don't have no type of eye candy, or just like not going outside, not meeting new people type of thing. It's definitely just gonna take a lot more work. Yeah. Especially like if you know exactly what you're going for. I feel like that's been a thing for me. Like, the type of person I'm going for, they like fall into two categories. It's either I'm young and I just started touching money for real, so like I'm not really trying to get involved with somebody, or I'm married and I'm trying to start a family. So overall, not terrible, but you definitely have to be patient out here. But yeah. Next question. Well, how has it been finding like hairstylists, nail services, things like that, and are their prices good? So I do have a video on just some Black-owned, women-owned businesses for like hair, nails, lashes, things like that, in one of my previous videos. So definitely check that out if you're like trying to get any recommendations on service providers out here. But I definitely have asked like Black coworkers, Black friends, just to put me on to whoever their person is, and that's like the easiest way to like build your arsenal of like service providers. That's kind of how I went about it. So in terms of just like service and prices, everybody that I go to, they have good prices, they have decent prices. The service has always been good, and they're all like people I would talk to. Like, I would be friends with these girls. I think all of them are really cool. I'll leave some like hairstylists and just like people that I go to. I think what most people would want to know about is like braiders and stuff. I did feature my braider and I in my previous video that I mentioned, but all her prices are really good. So I'll link her information, her IG booking site and all of that in the description box. But I have not met any service provider whose prices are just like outlandish. So I've never come across that, and they don't have any like crazy rules or anything like that. So I haven't had any like bad experiences in that regard. What are some things you wish you knew before you moved? I probably would have saved up just a little bit more. I didn't come out here like just nothing in my pocket or just like no savings. But I still jumped the gun pretty fast. So it was like I looked for apartments for maybe like 2-3 weeks, and then I chose one. As long as you're safe in your current living situation, stay home as long as possible, and just continue saving, because you know you can never save too much money, but stay home as long as possible to save up, and just make sure you have enough in like your rainy day funds and things like that. Another thing I wish I knew before moving is the amount of work that it takes to like foster relationships. I know people just have like their own things going on, and not to say like it's hard being a good friend, that's not what I'm saying, but like being intentional about being a good friend, being a friend that you wish someone were to you. Like, be the friend that you wish somebody, English is hard, be the type of friend you wish you had. There we go. Like I said, it's not about it's hard being a good friend. It's definitely about reaching out whenever you think of someone, or just like, dang, I haven't heard from so-and-so in a long time, and they told me that they had a lot going on at work. Let me check on her, let me see how she's doing. Just things like that. I just have to be more intentional about, and not in a way where it's just like I'm checking something off of my to-do list. Definitely take interest in the people that you have, like on a genuine level. And yeah, and also like don't be afraid to reach out to others. That's another thing. A lot of the friends that I made was just like, hey, I see you're doing X, Y, and Z. I think that's pretty cool. Do you want to grab brunch or lunch or something? Let's like hang out. And then, you know, just taking genuine interest in what people have going on in their lives, who they are as people. That's already something that I knew, but in order to like make sure that you have a healthy network around you, a healthy circle of friends, not just for you but also for them, just to make sure that everyone is like, you know, just feeling taken care of. So I feel like that was something that I wish I knew more of when before I moved out here. Another thing that I wish I knew was lifestyle creep is definitely a thing. So if you're not familiar with lifestyle creep, it's just like you start touching money and you want to elevate your lifestyle at the same pace or like faster. So it's just like, okay, so you got a raise, that doesn't mean that you need to immediately go out and buy a new car type of thing. Or your salary increased or something like that. You don't need to upgrade all the appliances in your house. So definitely living below your means is the way to go in a lot of these situations. So yeah. Oh, another thing that I wish I would have learned out here before moving, Amazon is definitely going to be your best friend. So if you haven't seen my like apartment tour where I talk about like furniture and things like that, a lot of that stuff came from Amazon. You can definitely find quality pieces of furniture and just like things for your apartment like on Walmart, Target, Amazon. A lot of that stuff can definitely look high end depending on where it's placed in the home and like what accessories are around it to kind of zhuzh it up. So definitely how to save money looking elsewhere was definitely something I wish I knew. The next question is talking about job security and industries in Charlotte. So Charlotte is really known as a banking and nursing type of city. But more recently they've become they're trying to turn into one of the tech hubs. So you see a lot of technical companies out here. There's tons of just like well-known consulting firms out here. So, you know, you have the typical Bank of Americas, your lending trees, Honeywells, things like that in terms of banking. And definitely there's a lot of nursing opportunities out here. And increasingly, you definitely have your tech companies or your Microsofts, your Amazons, and things like that. So there's a ton of just like growing industries that are already out here. As far as like job security, there definitely have been like layoffs across industries, but nothing drastic enough to like make me or my peers kind of feel a certain type of way. Not out here. I've seen a lot of places that are hiring. That I know September is a time where a lot of people get hired. So I'm pretty sure a lot of those job spots will become filled. I think the last question is, how is your mental and spiritual health? I'm actually trying to get deep on me, but if I want to be honest, some days are definitely harder than others, especially like living on your own. It's just like, it's so easy to get caught up with like social media and just like comparing in general to where other people are. But one thing I've learned is like happiness is wherever you say it is. So like obviously you're never going to be like content or happy or joyful if you're always looking like towards something else. And that's been like one of the things for me. Like I don't even like really celebrate my accomplishments. I'm always like, okay, that's cool, what's next? But I'm definitely learning that you have to be intentional about your happiness and your joy, and just like saying it is wherever I say it is. Like the grass is greener wherever I water it at. So that's definitely been one of the things I need to overcome, and just a major part of mental health, and just like not dwelling on the things that I don't have, but being very intentional and very grateful and practicing gratitude for all the things that God has blessed me with now. And that kind of ties into spiritual health. I feel like I'm a Christian, so I feel like mental health, spiritual health, all of that kind of intertwines. But I definitely feel like, especially with this age of working from home, going outside and just like interacting with other people definitely helps your mental health a ton. I feel like it's very easy to start spiraling once you are isolated, and that's where you like get too deep into your thoughts and you're like really just warped up in this negativity. Like you just need to go outside, see some lights, touch some grass, and just like be present with like where you are, how far you've come. And like, yes, you could be working towards something else, but there's just so much good in the here and now. So that's really what I've been working towards. And especially as like the season starts to change, I definitely want to get ahead of the curve in terms of just like seasonal depression and things like that. So making sure I get at least 30 minutes of sunlight in. I work out pretty often, so keeping up with that and just making sure I'm doing things that boost my self-esteem, my health, things that I love doing, and all of those things kind of just like help with my mental health and keep me feeling pretty boosted. And making sure I'm just like not being lazy when it comes to like actually going to church. Like ever since we have like the option of watching it online, sometimes I'll be lazy and just be like, yeah, I'll just watch it online or something. But we definitely need that community to be encouraged and loved on, and being in community with others in the faith is definitely going to do a lot for your spiritual health and for your mental health. Just knowing that others are believing in God for something to happen on your behalf. So that has also been a thing that I've been more intentional about. When you're living at home, it's so easy to be like, I don't know, it's so easy for you to like go through the motions, but when you're living on your own, it's definitely a matter of, I need to be intentional with my walk with Christ. I need to do these things because they are important to me, and not just like, oh, my parents did this, my family like grew up like this. But it has to be your own journey, it has to be your own walk. So that's definitely been like my spiritual journey so far, and just like incorporating daily devotionals, setting up time to talk to God, prayer, journaling, all those type of things have been super helpful for like my spiritual health, my emotional health. Yeah, And I hope all of that made sense. I was just kind of rambling there. Yeah, I think that's pretty much it. Um, if you have any other questions or just like something you want me to further elaborate on or just like do another spin-off video about, let me know in the comment section down below. But yeah, all in all, I still love it here in Charlotte. I'll still definitely be around for a little minute before I see where God takes me. But for now, I'm kicking it. I love it here. I love my friends. I love my job. I love a lot of the things that I've been learning and growing through and just going through, you know. I love it here. So yeah, I think it's been pretty cool. With that being said, I think that's the end of this Q&A. If you haven't already, go ahead and like, comment, share, and subscribe. I post new videos every week, and I'll catch y'all in the next one. Bye.